Hey, it's Mahalia here, and today I just wanted to, talk about some ways that we can overcome fear, right? Fear, a lot of people say this term that fear is this false evidence appearing real. However, sometimes the things are real. However, how do we overcome them anyway, right? We're fearful, but how do we overcome that fear and still face or deal with or keep moving, not get crippled or seize, right? So the first thing you should do is just take time out. Take time to distract yourself from the worry. Like, do something that can relieve your stress. One thing I like to do if I'm feeling overwhelmed about something, I like to go for a walk. So I'll go for a walk. I feel the breeze on my face or the sun on my face. Um, Hear the trees, hear the birds, like look around and just focus on those things for a little time. While so that what happens is that calms me or takes my mind off of the issue or the problem or the thing at hand, so I'm not going over it over and over it in my mind without resolve. So I take the time, be distracted for a little bit. You don't want it to be for a long time. Be distracted for a little bit and then come back to it with a fresh mind. All right. And the second thing to do is breathe, right? If it's something in the moment, you cannot walk away, you can't leave, you can't be distracted. Breathe. This is something I actually do with my kids. When kids have emotions and feelings just like grown-ups, right? They're people. But it just seems to be bigger than ours because we're a little older. We have the ability to think more concrete than they can. And so for them, Cheetah, okay? So for them, they don't have all the words. They don't have the extensive thought process, critical thinking skills that we do, right? So I always encourage them to take a deep breath, and I breathe with them. And we take about 3 or 4 breaths, deep breaths in and out. And then I tell them to try again. Okay, what is it that you're trying to tell me? Okay, so breathe through the panic, breathe through the fear. Okay, breathe, take a deep breath. So the next thing to do is face your fears. It's obvious, right? Maybe it should have been the first one, but face your fears, right? The problem that you don't address is the problem that never goes away, right? So face your fears, all right? Next thing is imagine the worst. Try imagining that, like, what's the worst that could happen, right? What's the worst thing that could happen? What's the worst thing? And once you've already imagined what the worst thing is that could happen, it makes it less daunting. So imagine a lot of possibilities, like what is the worst that can happen. And after that, you can even imagine, so now you have the worst that could happen. Now imagine all the good things that could happen, the great possibilities that can come from it. And the next one is to talk about it. Find someone that you you can trust, who's very trustworthy, and talk about your fears. Talk about the things that are making you feel fearful, or why are they fearful. How the thoughts that are coming to your minds, the feelings that are overtaking you when you think of this thing. Talk to that person, someone who's wise, that can go through it with you and expose what are lies and what are truths. And if you don't have someone, right, you can talk to God. And you can you should be talking to God regardless, whether you have someone or you don't have someone. You should be talking to God. And then also you can journal, write all the things that are you're fearful about, the things that are plaguing you, things that are making you feel crippled, feeling whatever feelings, overwhelmed, anxiety, panicked. Write them out, read them aloud. Sometimes when we hear our thoughts out loud, when we hear our thoughts out loud, when we see something or we say it out, we realize we are more likely to be able to rationalize it than when it just stays in our minds and we don't get to vocalize it. So talk about it. All right, talk about it with someone you know and trust. And if you don't have someone you know and trust, write it out, write a journal, and read it out loud and rationalize. All right. And pretend that it's not you and it's someone that you have to help. Right. Sometimes when we do that, we're able to give better advice than if it's just us who are in the situation. And that's it. Those are my tips for overcoming fear. And I hope they help.